It was blowing sand. It was chaotic, like you mentioned. I took that photograph and I was identifying it with my own inner thoughts and feelings because I felt like it's beautiful, but there's like inner battles.
Hey, I'm Bree Stockwell. I'm a nature photographer, owner of Wild Women Photography, leading co-ed creative photography retreats and workshops for women. And I'm also the host of this podcast, Wild Women in Photography. Today's guest is wild woman Martha Montiel. Martha is a nature and landscape photographer born and raised in Mexico City and now based in Colorado, USA. Martha's fascination with photography started at a young age. Her background and university classes were focused in art and graphic design, but her love of photography was solidified after participating in a black and white photography class where she learned to develop her own film. Photography has continued to fuel her love of the outdoors, her sense of adventure, love of connecting with others, and a desire to inspire others to conserve and protect our planet. Martha is a co-founder of the Outdoor Photo Alliance, whose mission is to empower connection and growth among those with an affinity for outdoor photography. You can find out more about Martha and her work at Martha Montiel, Montiel, photography.com. Now on to the episode with wild woman Martha Montiel. Let's go.
Do we have to be all official?
I don't know.
We've been telling each other stories for like 30 minutes already.
I think we're done. We finished before we record it.
Y'all, the podcast is over and nothing's been recorded.
Anyway, hi, bye.
It was actually all boring stuff about business and cars. So
I think it's good.
And aside,
It's
mini
strategizing.
side combo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's happening? So yes. Okay, Martha, this is so fun to have you on the podcast.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun to talk to you.
Let's hope the skeletons don't come out.
There are skeletons.
No. We won't dig too deep.
Martha buried the bodies in white sands.
Mm-hmm. They were hard to drag, and then I had to clean the tracks.
Is that why your backpack is so huge when we go to white sands?
I was carrying body parts.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, this is getting dark.
I will never forget, like, because how tall are you? 5'1", 5'2". Yeah. So, yeah, not tall. and the first time we went to White Sands, you had this giant backpack on because I think you had like big cameras in there.
Oh yeah, because I had rented this the Z9, and then like a giant lens, and I'm like tipping backwards.
I know it was
heavy.
almost as big as you.
I know. I was trying to build muscle.
Yeah.
Different one.
Well, that's how I know. So that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Is you bring a giant backpack.
Mm-hmm. I'm learning. I'm like emptying out. Like I don't need this and this and that. We were in Estes Park a couple of days ago, and the first hike we did, I'm like, oh my God, my backpack's heavy. Then we're gonna do the next hike up, towards a lake. And so I'm taking out stuff out of it. I'm like, oh my God, my laptop's in here. Like, that's why my backpack is so heavy. So I'm like, God, I've been carrying around my laptop and who knows what else.
Was this a day hike?
Yes. Well, yeah, we went for sunset. Yeah. But hiking in the snow up, you start at 12,000 feet or something.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You totally live at elevation. I am so excited to be in the snow
It's
this
gonna be
year.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to Utah for a month and then New Mexico for a month. And in the middle of that, I'm coming up to Colorado
You're going to Utah for a month and New Mexico for a month?
Yes. I have some really nice friends who are letting us stay with them.
Nice. I'm jealous.
My friend in New Mexico, she's like, oh, this is going to be so fun. She's like, bring your snowshoes. When the guys are done working, we'll all go snowshoeing. And Like, we'll just take day trips to snowshoe. And I'm
You're
like,
like, no, I'm going to the White Sands
plan.
Park.
I know. Well, she's up in Farmington, which is like 45 minutes from Shanda and Durango. So it's
right. Yeah.
really
So then
far
there's,
north.
yeah, for sure. Oh, that's
Yeah,
going to be fun.
I know. And so I'm really excited to be like, usually I'm in Texas I'm elsewhere for like a short time, but I'm mostly in Texas for winter, but I'm going to be gone all winter away from Texas. And so I'm like, I'm actually worried about packing because I have to bring all the things because my Texas body is going to freeze. But
well, you're actually going to experience winter for real. So that'll be good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have before. I've lived in cold, but I'm a California girl. So,
Same. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Like if you're going to be driving, you can just kind of carry all your stuff in your car.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Season 1,
I know.
season 2.
Right? I know.
Well, I got clothes if you want to borrow stuff.
Okay, because you're 5 foot size clothes.
Never mind.
Okay, Martha's my friend, so I can joke with her about this. I have clothes that I can wear, and I just bought Michelle's son's when she went to Antarctica. She did that blog post that I think
with the gloves,
Outdoor Photo Alliance shared. Yeah, they're like hybrid gloves. They're like a mitten glove. So the 3, your pinky, ring, and middle fingers are all in a mitten. And then your pointer finger and your thumb are loose. And I wonder if those come off. I can't remember what happens with those, but I feel like I don't know, maybe they don't.
You should be able either that or you probably have like the sticky stuff so you can actually do buttons and things.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, so I have those. So we'll see. Sorry, Valorette.
I have my Valorette
I do have some Valorette gloves.
I have some, and I'm like, I really like them because you can actually take out the thumb and then like the mittens, you kind of pull out this so they come out.
Oh, I don't have mittens. I just have the fingered gloves, which I think I needed mittens instead. So pro tip, y'all, if you're looking for gloves, photo gloves for winter, get something that's a mitten because it'll just keep your hands warmer.
Much warmer, for sure. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And then on these ones, you can put they have like a pocket so you can put like a hand warmer on it.
Yes.
Which is
and you can also buy merino. I think Valorette sells regular glove liners.
I think they have merino too. Right?
No, they don't. They don't have merino glove liners. Yeah. Oh. When I talked to Stina, I'll reference her episode in the notes of this. But she was like, no, the merino, they just wear out a little bit more quickly. So I bought some from REI that I like. I actually bought the Smart Wool ones and the REI ones to compare. And the REI ones fit my hand better. So I kept those.
Oh, nice. Yeah, merino makes like a huge difference.
Right,
awesome.
Exactly. So anyway, I have all that to say is I have gear and you live so high up that you always have the gear.
You have to have the gear. Yeah, we had tons of snow right now. After we're done, I'm going to go break ice and like shovel.
Oh, that's exciting. It's like 60 degrees here today. That feels cold. I have a sweater.
Me too. Well, it is sunny, but there's snow. Yeah. It's, that's the cool thing about Colorado. It's always sunny. So you could be like 30 degrees and you're like in a t-shirt and shorts. Yeah, it's warm.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm excited. Usually I talk about this stuff at the end. Let's just talk about it now. Let's just talk about the conference now, because here's the thing is, I want to invite any women who are listening to this episode to come to the conference. I'm going to put a link in the notes. I don't know if there's still going to be, I have a code for $100 off through the end of the year. So I'll include that. And it's just going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing.
I'm going to be there doing some special things. So I'm excited about that. But Martha, will you tell us more? Because I know people have talked about it on the podcast, but I really think this is a really special event that like if you're on the fence about joining, you should just come and do it. So, yeah. And I have some questions about some logistics. So maybe we can help answer those things.
Totally. I think it's going to be amazing. We have, as you know, like a really top of the line lineup of speakers,
yes,
which we were so lucky to get, and everybody was so excited. So that's one thing. The location, we were just in Estes and we stayed at the hotel. It's really nice. It's the conference center. It's so pretty. There's tons of restaurants in Estes Park. I think one hesitation that people might have is, being in winter or, driving in the winter. And I have some videos I'll upload it later, but Colorado is really good about clearing roads. So your roads are always clear. Like I was saying, it's always sunny in Colorado. I mean, they said that there's like 300 days of sunshine. So, and it's true. It's always sunny. Even if it's, it snows, the next day it's like, boom, sunny. We're making it really easy for everybody, and it looks so pretty. So I think it's going to be good.
That's awesome. Some of the speakers, Sarah Marino has been on the podcast, Victoria Hawk has been on the podcast, Michelle Sons, right? Who's been on the podcast?
Suzanne, Matthias.
Yeah.
Sherry Mabe, Charlotte Gibb.
I haven't had her yet, but yes, Charlotte. You guys, it's going to be such an incredible. Oh, yes. Oh, fantastic. I forgot.
She's an icon ambassador, just like Victoria. Yes, we're going to have, I don't want to forget, Beth Young. Who else am I forgetting? Don Wilson. Yeah, we have a really cool lineup.
That's amazing. I'm so glad they came on board to do this, even if it's like just the first year, or maybe especially because it's the first year. I think that's
exactly.
I know, it's so awesome.
Well, and the cool thing is that, like people are going to have a chance, like not only to listen to the conversations or the presentations that they do, but you're going to be sitting next to them and you're going to be able to pick their brain or talk to them, or maybe like you're looking for a mentor, like you get to talk to them and see who you fit with. So it's, everybody's going to be around. You get to talk and learn from them, not only from the presentation, but afterwards or during.
That is actually what I was just thinking was about that particular, I'm going to call it a benefit, but it really is what the conference is about. It's about bringing women together to talk. We're talking about photography. We're understanding more from some women who have been in the field, for a long time. Hearing their insights and just hearing more about their journeys and what they have to say. But I also love that they are really just real people. They're just regular people.
They're normal people.
They are just normal people. And because I think you're keeping the conference kind of smaller. I think there's a limit of 100, right? Right? Is that the limit?
Yeah, we have a limit of 100. I mean, we could go more if it, there's a chance.
Maybe.
But no, it's like we want to make it small for a reason. And then they're going to share, like, if you have a difficult time, getting your work out there, like they're going to share knowledge that it's going to be beneficial to you. They're going to show you how it's done.
Right.
Because they've done it.
I love creating these personal relationships, and the thing is too, you may end up connecting with at least one or more women that you may want to then do extra things with. I think this is such a great way to like network in the community, so,
we found a group of people that we wanted to connect with. And so we now we have like a little group of people that we go out and photograph with. But I mean, it's nice to find people, that maybe are like you're more adventurous, less adventurous, but you guys can get together and go out and shoot and have just like these photo adventures.
Yeah, if you want that. There is something really special about in person. So, if you want to come, don't hesitate because there are only 100
spaces available. Yeah. And also one more thing I wanted to mention, it's if you're worried about gear, because we were talking about that.
Oh yeah, we were. Yes.
And or clothing or stuff. We have a rental place in Estes Park that they rent everything that you can think of. So they're gonna be there and they're gonna, be on site to rent spikes if you want to rent spikes. So you don't have to invest on, or they can rent jackets, they can rent snow pants, hiking poles, snowshoes, whatever you need. So you don't have to invest on that. It's going to be
that is amazing.
Yeah. So it's making it easier.
Yeah.
So they're going to be there like on Thursday night, and people want to rent stuff, they can just pick it up or let them know what they need and they'll bring it.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, making it easy.
Right, exactly. Okay, what airport would you fly into?
Oh, I got dark. Denver. So Denver is like the main place that you can fly into. That's like the closest.
Okay, and then how long does it take to get from Denver to Estes Park?
It's probably like hour and a half.
That's close.
Yeah, not far. For me, it's 2 hours, but it's an hour and a half. Again, the roads are clear. It's the one thing that we're telling people, like if they're going to rent a car, or we haven't mentioned that, but like make sure that, they're in compliance, like the tires for like snow driving or chains or whatever. Most of the time you don't need it unless there's like a big storm. But again, Colorado does a really good job at clearing the roads. And then we're going to look into shuttles, so to share with people, like if there's like a shuttle company that can go and maybe people can get together and take a shuttle together.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Or maybe we can figure out how to, if people want to like rent cars together and share them.
I know Beth Bulow and Julia, they're kind of getting together. So they're driving together. So they're meeting at the airport and then driving together to Estes Park. So there's like a few people who are doing that.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way we can facilitate that. Maybe I'll talk to you after this. We can see.
Our Facebook group. Yeah. Once people buy their ticket, they can join the Facebook group and then they can connect that way. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Never mind. I'll cut that out. But yeah. Okay. So you have a Facebook group. So once you buy a ticket, you can join. You can
join the Facebook group.
And then you can just arrange, like, if you want to save money on, travel costs. I mean, 4 people can fit in a car, easy.
And we have people sharing rooms too. So if you want to save money on like a hotel, you can share a room with somebody else, or people can stay other hotels. There's tons of hotels around there. So if they want to find something cheaper or different.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to put a link
join us.
Yes, join. Come see me. Come meet me in person. Come meet Martha in person.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
So I have a code for $100 off through the end of the year. I'm going to put that in the description. And now we're going to talk about what you just talked about, which is how, like, I know we've talked about this on the podcast multiple times because I have all my favorite people on here, but we talked about what it sounds like getting together with your people. By the way, it was so fun. I just went to Caddo Lake, and Jeannie and Nancy, who are part of kind of our little, we called ourselves Sandy Sisters, but anyway, we keep changing the name, but yeah. So, the group message for me and Jeannie and Nancy was Bayou Babes.
Oh my God.
Bayou Babes.
I like
Bayou Babes. Bayou Babes. So, but it was really fun. And why was I mentioning?
We were talking about White Sands, and then you guys were at Caddo Lake. Pretty much any trip that you go with Bree or to go with Bree, you're going to have a good time.
I know. It's true.
They're fun.
So if you want to go to, so I'm changing up how I do things. If you want to go to New Mexico with me, send me an email, wow@wildwomanphotography.com, and I will give you more details. So, because I actually, I have a retreat on the podcast, but I'm going to change up how I do it. So just email me and I'll give you the details. Okay. So the reason I love talking with everyone is because with you and, I loved meeting Jeannie and Nancy in person again. It's just such it's so fun to have this incredible group, which I think we is obvious how much we like each other.
We don't get into too much trouble, really.
No, it's just Martha. I told you about her body. But we just try and make it easy. And I think there is a huge benefit to going with other people and going with some people who know the place that you're going to so they can show you around. Mm-hmm. And I like you and Shanda with Estes Park. I just think it's just a big deal. But I want to talk about White Sands because I think I was actually thinking about what I know.
We love White Sands.
We do love White Sands. It really is magical. I just released can I do this? Can I plug something real quick?
Yes, I saw that. It's so amazing.
Yes, thank you. So I just released my full collection of White Sands images. It's called Gypsum Dreams. You can access it online between now when you're listening to this and January 17th. And after that, I'm going to take it down and I'll probably put it up again later, but I don't know when.
And you can hear the narration by Brie with the sexy voice.
Oh, yeah. Does it sound like a sexy voice? I call it my podcast
I loved
voice.
it. I thought it was good. It was good.
That is awesome. So I wrote an artist statement that's more experiential. And then after I released the collection, I was like, what would be fun to record that and then put it to music.
I love that. It was so calming.
I felt like a dream. So
yes.
Anyway, it's a whole experience. You can go on my website, go to my portfolio and check it out. But yeah, you can actually listen. If you press play and you click on an image, you can slide through each image while you listen to apparently my sexy podcast voice.
Yeah. And this is Martha interviewing Brie about.
Hi, Martha. How are you today?
So sexy.
So good. So why I brought up White Sands? Well, you in my little pre-recording forum, you mentioned White Sands probably twice, but I was thinking about my personal experience the other day, and I was remembering we were in April because we were there
this
in
year.
April.
Yeah,
was it April or March?
I think it was
April.
I think it was April. Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely
last
April.
year was March, I think. Yeah.
Right. And this year's April. Mm-hmm. So, but we were in, it was really heavy winds.
It was amazing. I think we've gotten heavy winds every time we go.
Yeah, we do. That's why we go then, because it's magical. But it's also chaotic.
You get a facial, that's like an added benefit. You get sandblasting. Okay.
I know.
Smooth skin.
Right. I know. But we do goggles. And this last time I brought a buff, and I put it up above my mouth and above my ears. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have that much
visible.
Yeah. And it was better. But I remember I sometimes like to have my headphones in because I'll listen to it calms the wind, or I just put the headphones in and put my buff on. Right? But I remember going it is so chaotic, mm-hmm. crazy chaotic. And I remember having this moment where I stood on top of the dune and everything is almost white out around me. And you feel like you should be disoriented or feel like you're in chaos. And I just had this moment of total serenity where I just stood there in peace, actually.
I think it's magical. I mean, I think everybody has to experience it once, and it can be overwhelming when you get to White Sands because you're mm-hmm. There's so much to photograph and you don't even know where to start. But yeah, it is super magical, and the sandstorms can be crazy.
I know.
But then you get all the dunes that are clean and pretty and beautiful and the sun glowing. Yeah.
Yeah, we
gorgeous.
want that. Like we want the sun to light up the blowing sand and all of those things. But yeah. So do you want to talk about your experience there this last
For once, I wasn't carrying like a super heavy pack, which was awesome. Yes, I mean, I still get overwhelmed when I go to White Sands
Yeah.
because, but I think you can start that like the first day, like, okay, I'm going to check it out and see what pulls my attention. I love to take off and then just wander around. The bad thing is like coming back, when like you have to be on time and we're like always running.
I know, because they have funky hours.
I know. But no, I think I love it. I think, I mean, I don't know what I could tell you about it that I haven't told you.
Well,
White Sands is amazing.
So I'm going to read you what you wrote.
Oh,
and then you can say, yes, that was true. And then we can move on. Well, because I think this year has been, at least earlier this year, was particularly difficult. And you said White Sands this year with you girls, us girls like that, was very powerful for me. Not only was I questioning whether I should go, which is true. You almost didn't come. Or not due to recent events. I did go and I was able to have time alone to be with my thoughts and feelings.
Okay, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I blocked it out of my mind.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, this year was one for the books and the negative part. It's been a difficult year, but yes, we had planned White Sands, and I was trying to figure out whether I should go or not. My mom had just passed away. And then I had my dad with me because he wasn't able to stay at home by himself. And then he got really, really sick. So he was in the hospital.
He had a hard time with your mom's passing too, didn't he?
Yeah, he basically doesn't remember the first week. Then we almost lost him too. So then he was in the hospital. Once I was ready to come home, he wanted to come home with us. So he came here, and then he was in the hospital again, where he almost died again. So then I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Do I really want to go to White Sands because I need this time? It'll kind of clear out my thoughts, and it'll be good to get away from this part, but at the same time I kind of felt selfish because like I can't just leave my dad. So yeah, I was vacillating, and then I talked to him and I talked to Dave, and they're like, go, like this is good. And my dad and Dave get along really, really well. So they were happy. So I came, and it was so nice because it's so good to have such a group like we have where everybody's so supportive. If you want to talk about stuff, you can. If you don't, you don't. And then everybody's there to just support each other. So it was really good. And then once I got into the park, I was able to just wander, and you kind of get lost in the beauty of it and trying to compose. I did talk about one of the images that I created, and it was actually during one of the sandstorms. So it was blowing sand. It was chaotic, like you mentioned. And then, so I took that photograph and I was identifying it with my own inner thoughts and feelings, because I felt like it's beautiful, but there's like inner battles going with, like, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? Like, what's going on? So I think I was able to kind of regroup and manage the rest of the year, which has still been shit. So it gave me strength and force. And then, our dinners are always so much fun. And so, like just, looking at books or talking to people, and it was amazing. So I was glad that I came. But yeah, you can easily get lost there, and in a good way.
Yes, totally. Because it's so different, and the dunes are kind of like I think of White Sands as like a palette cleanser because they're so light and they're kind of feel minimal, but yet there are things within it that are also maybe a little chaotic. So it's kind of fun like a fun puzzle to figure out,
It gets you out of your head, which is super helpful because then like you're focusing on all these things. Then there's like, this year we had all these beautiful flowers, verbena, I think it was, and plants. And so, yeah, it is a palate cleanser. It's like a mind cleanser.
Yes. I think though a lot of people would probably agree with this. And I think this is what you were experiencing, which is nature is so healing. Wherever we go out in nature, there's something about connecting with nature, connecting with yourself, connecting with the universe, or if it's there's a higher power that you believe in. It's like deepens those connections. And I think like I've had experiences where I go out in nature and I'm able to process things better because all of a sudden the external noises
you get clarity.
Yeah, they're not present. And so I can sort through what's happening in my head a little easier,
I think that's true. Yeah. Yes. On my drive I forgot about this, but on my drive down, Chend and I were kind of following each other. And there was a rock that came out of nowhere and like just blasted my sunroof. Like I had a huge hole in there. I was like, Jesus, can we take a break?
We were like trying to fix it with like tape and a plastic bag.
Bree and you and I were, we were on top of the roof. Like,
yeah, we tried to fix it. Yeah.
Cleaning the little shattered glass. And,
when you told us that, I was like, oh man, what else could go wrong for
Just
Martha?
Go home.
I was like, don't worry, I'll fix it with the chocolate lava cakes. It's fine.
Oh, that is so good. And the bread, the sourdough. Yum. Okay, now I'm hungry.
I know. I got to make sourdough bread this weekend. Yeah, y'all, I do baking for my people.
So good.
It's really lovely. I always do baking and I bring baked goods and I make lava cakes for sure.
Yeah. So it was a cleansing. It was a good experience. I had no regrets about going. And when I came back, everything was good. So I guess, like you're not that important. Like the world keeps going, even if you're not there. So
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so
thinking
true.
like, I can't leave because, what's going to happen to my dad and this and that. I'm like, no, he's fine. Go.
Yeah, it's important to know when you need something for you.
And you can probably be better there for them after because then you've had a minute to like just, oh, sorry.
What is that?
That was like the alarm thing, so we have the smoke detectors and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So once in a while, they kind of like tell you that like, yeah, we're still
remind you that they exist.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Good.
But it was good. I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, I like that you were saying that. I think, so I work with a coach and she has this saying, what's good for me is good for the world. And I think that's true. Like when we like it's like that being on the airplane when you can put your own like oxygen mask on and then you help everybody else because what's good for me is now good for everybody else because I'm there to help you too. Like, so we serve other people well when we help ourselves first.
Yes, totally. Yeah. You're
it's
able
not
to help
selfish.
Others better. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes you feel like you're being selfish about it, but you're actually doing a good thing.
Yeah.
So no regrets. That was the lesson.
No regrets.
No regrets.
And we're going to see each other in February, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, let's talk about. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Martha. I know we all go through hard times, and I think that there are so many different ways that we can help ourselves, and I think a lot of people have found solace and comfort and healing through photography, and especially photography in nature.
Nature, it helps you heal. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but now I want to talk about, let me decide. Okay, you talked about okay, Martha is I feel like you're not clumsy, but you do get injured.
Okay, let me figure out a nice way to say this. Clumsy is the word that comes to mind, but that's not what we want to say.
I don't want to like say that
Accident
you're
prone.
clumsy. Oh, well, maybe we could like say that. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some.
So when you were asking me like stories, I'm like, I don't know what I've had. Like, I don't know what I have, and then I'm like, oh, right. So this was a few years ago. We were hiking in Rocky Mountain National Park. I had my camera. It was like a smaller backpack with my camera and a lens and little tripod. And we had hiked up to lake. So it was like a 6-mile hike up and down. So we're done. So now I'm checking out these waterfalls. I'm like, I really want to get a photo of this. And there's tons of people. So I'm kind of jumping around trying to figure out where I want to go. So I have my backpack and I'm jumping from rock to rock, trying to figure out a way, where I can get like a nice shot. Actually, I don't even know if I have that photo. I don't know what happened to that. But so I'm jumping and my knee goes out and I'm like on the ground. I mean, on the rock. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and it was excruciating pain. I'm like, what happened? So I'm calling Dave. I'm like, hey, he's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I think I broke my knee or, something. And he's like, well, can you get up? I'm like, nope, I can't. He's like, oh God. So you could see his face. I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to get out of this one? So I sat there for a while and I'm finally able to get up. So I didn't know what I'd done, but I tore my ACL on that hike. So I'm able to get up and then I don't know how we did it. We hobbled out and, hiked out. There was still, I think it was only like less than a mile out. But,
oh, that's good.
Yeah. But then I was thinking like, oh my God, I've done this so many other times. Like this is not the first time that it happened. Like, I think I need, when you hike and you carry your water bottle and your snacks and a jacket, I'm going to start carrying like crutches, just in case. So I can
right. Or at least like some sort of like splint or ankle wraps or some sort of brace.
So I was thinking, I hiked up. So when I used to live in California, we used to go to Yosemite and I'd done Half Dome a few times. So one of the times, I think I had just like a little point and shoot or something. So we had hiked. We're coming down. I don't know if you ever done the hike.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I went to Yosemite, but I can't remember the last time I was there. I mean, I kind of do. I did not have a camera with me. I don't think I'll do Half Dome. Don't you have to climb those chain things?
Yeah. I mean, that was like the easy part. The hard part is there's like steps. I don't know if you can see, but like they're giant steps, kind of like rocks that are cut out. So we're hiking down and I busted my ankle. So I sat and, from Half Dome, I don't remember the distance, but from Half Dome to hike out of the park, it's probably quite a bit. I had to sit on my butt the whole way, like to get down that. And then after that, I think I figure out like a couple poles and then just kind of drag myself out, like, out of there because it was towards the evening already. And my friends are like, we got to get out. Like, there's no, like, we have to hike out.
Right.
So yeah. So it's happened a few times. So if you're coming with me, you know that you're going to have to share my pack.
But guess what? She always has snacks.
I do. And a jacket and water.
She has all the things.
Oh my God.
And if you drive with her, she has all the emergency things in her car too.
That is true. I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that when we were in Lone Pine.
We're adding crutches. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's happened a few times. I'm like, oh my God.
I think the thing about that is when you do hurt yourself, it's about mentally being able to not, like you're not physically recovered, but mentally being able to reroute yourself instead of going, oh, I can't move. I can't do anything. I'm injured. It's like, how do I work with the pain, with what my limitations are now to be able to finish what I need to do? And I think that those kind of experiences actually show us what we're capable of, like what our capacity to handle like pain, to handle adverse scenarios are. I think they're really interesting. I'm not, okay, hang on a second. Universe, I am not asking to break something right now.
Let's see how strong you are.
I'm like doing a lot of mental work right now. I'm good on the physical stuff. So,
I get it.
But they do teach us when we have these things come, they do help teach us, not that we're asking for them, but they do show us.
You're able to see how strong you actually can be. Yeah. It can be debilitating, I suppose. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this or that. I guess it's not debilitating. You're going to have to delete that, but it's like humbling.
Oh, yes.
Humbling is the word.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, those are humbling experiences for sure.
Yeah, but you're able to actually do it and get out, and survival skills kick in.
And that's right, and keep going. So when you tear your ACL, step 1 is cry. That's what I do. Step 2 is suck it up and keep going.
Oh,
and ask for help.
Yes, for sure. I'm pretty bad, and I actually have had people tell me like I'm pretty bad about asking for help. I'm like, no, I can do it. My friend's like, oh my God, it's like, just let me help you. I'm like, no, I got it. Actually, I just remember that too. Like, we were in Rocky Mountain again last year, and we hiked to this waterfall, and at that point I hadn't fixed my knee, so I had still a torn ACL, which I didn't know I had tore it. And then like the 2 ligaments on the side torn too. So my knee was pretty weak. So we hiked, and on the hike out is, another 3 miles. And I'm like, my knee locked. I'm like, I can't walk. And my friend so there was like 2 couples, Dave and I and our friends, and they're like, I gotta go to the bathroom like really bad. So she's like flying, and so Dave goes with her, and her husband and I like are hobbling along. I'm like, oh, so I tell you, see, I've done it many times. Actually, I could probably give people tips. I'm like, you know what? Like, if you break your knee, I can tell you how to do it. I mean, getting out, not breaking your knee, getting out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. There's like adrenaline. There's adrenaline. That's why your body.
I think so.
Makes
something
that,
happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Knock on wood. No more.
Right. So,
yeah, we're done with
how long have you been photographing?
I mean, officially, I've been photographing, like I've always had a camera in my hand, but when I actually decided to make something out of this, I think it was in 2017. And it's because I think that's the year that we moved to Colorado. So we were doing different trips, and it's capturing images. And I had Instagram, like a personal thing, but at some point I discovered this other side of it where I was posting my photos and made it like a public account. So yeah, but it wasn't a thought out process. Like, I want to do this. I've always dreamt about it, but I never actually like really did anything about it until I started posting my photos, and then like I was getting feedback and they were being well received. So then I started, focusing actually in photography.
This is fun. I'm going to do this more.
Yeah. My friend and I, like, we used to go backpacking in California, and like we used to talk about like, oh, we should do like a photography, trip, just, photograph and stuff. So we talked about it, but it was like yeah, cool, let's do that. But, never actually do anything about it.
Now you do it.
And I know, isn't it amazing?
Uh-huh.
It's so cool. I'm like, I get to do this.
I know.
This is so amazing. I know. I was talking to Beth, and I'm like, I would have never thought in a million years that somebody would be talking to me in a podcast about photography. I was like, mind blown.
I know, it's so fun.
It's so cool.
It's awesome. I love that we keep pushing ourselves to do, to just keep going.
Yeah. And then every year, you try to learn new things and more and more and more stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was not planned, but it's a happy
I don't know.
thing.
Mine wasn't really either. Like I could have never predicted how this would all go either. So
isn't it cool? I remember finding you because I remember when I was with Nature Fairs and I found your account and sharing some of your stuff. But yeah, that was probably just a couple of years ago, a few years ago, right?
2020.
Yeah.
Just 2020
or something. Yeah, it was.
And now we on a podcast together. That's right. Yeah, it's so fun. Woo. I know. So you went to India. When did you go to India by yourself? Were you a photographer then?
2020. So that's when I was already really getting into photography. Yeah, that was an amazing trip. So I had so many people tell me oh my God, you should not go to India by yourself. It's so dangerous, and especially for women, and don't do it. And I was like, well, Dave doesn't want to go. So, and at that point I really didn't know, I didn't really have photography friends. So I'm like, and I've always been this way. I'm like, well, I'm just going to do it. If nobody wants to do it, I'm going to do it. So I booked my trip to India, and I'm on I think I connected from Denver to Washington. And then from Washington, it was my flight to Dubai. And I'm in line to get, on the plane. And this couple behind me, I think they were from India. And they're like, I always talk to people. So we were chatting. And they're like, oh, you're going by yourself? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, no, you shouldn't. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm about to get on the plane. Don't tell me I shouldn't go. It's it's so dangerous. And, for women, I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, well, I'm going. So, but at that point, so many people had been saying this. So I had this nervous thought in my head. I'm like, oh, my God, what am I doing? So I started
to you.
I registered with the U.S. Embassy. I'm like, if something happens, I'm this and that. So I went to do a photography tour of the Indian tigers with Andy Parkinson.
Oh, okay. So you weren't really by yourself. You were just traveling by yourself?
I was traveling by myself, and then I met with them there. And then I was there with them for, I think it was a 10-day trip. And then after that, I flew to the south part of India. So then I did an extended part by myself. So I did, half of it was by myself and half of it was with a group where I met in India. So, so we are, so I did that tour with them, met tons of people. A lot of them were from the UK. Actually, one of the guys that I met from the US is my now neighbor. So he used to live in New York. And then we were there together, and then he ended up deciding to move here, and then the house here became available. He bought it, so it's kind of funny how that worked out.
That's so crazy, fun.
I know, isn't it good? They're like, oh my God, he's your neighbor. I'm like, yeah, him and his wife. He's married now, but yeah. So anyway, so I met this other couple. They're a British couple, older couple. And so on the way back from the trip, they were, I think we're all going to be in, is it Mumbai?
Dubai?
No, Mumbai.
Mumbai is in India. Yeah.
Yeah. So we, because we were in the northern part of India where, closer to Nepal. So we all flew back there. And then from there, everybody was going to go their separate ways. So they were flying back to London. I was going to fly to the southern part of India. And then we realized that we had hotels that night, it's the same hotel. And they're like, oh, come with us, come in the shuttle with us. But then I see this other person with my name on it. I'm like, oh, my hotel sent somebody, so I'll just, go with him because, he's here already. They're like, okay, we'll see you at the hotel. So I get in the car with this guy, and I don't think he spoke much English. And the guys had told me that the hotel was just 5-10 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys there. I get in the car, and we're driving for 30 minutes. and 40 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I think I'm getting kidnapped. I'm like, what's happening? And so I asked the guy, and he just kind of mumbled something. And I'm like, okay, so I start freaking out. And then all those thoughts of people telling me, like, you shouldn't be by yourself, especially in a big city. It's dangerous. I'm like, oh my God. And like, so I start looking at, and it's nighttime, but I start looking at the stuff, going by me. And I start taking notes. And then I realized I didn't have anybody's phone number. So I had them on, I think it was on Facebook. So I had their like messenger. So I'm typing an email to them. I'm like, I'm passing this and I'm passing that. And because I'm like, I'm going to get kidnapped. I'm like, this is not good. So at this point, I'm sweating.
I can't imagine.
Oh, it was so scary. I was like, oh, this is coming true. Like, I shouldn't have come by myself. Finally, I think it was like 45 minutes later, we get to the hotel. I'm like, oh, thank God. So I just deleted the email. I'm like, so it was it was the same name, but it was like a different hotel. So I messaged them like, I'm at a hotel, but it's like a different hotel. Just, same brand.
That poor driver, he didn't know you were in the back, like freaking out, thinking he was kidnapping you.
Oh, and I tried to ask him, like, I don't remember what I asked him. I'm like, oh, are we almost there? Or, we're going to this hotel, right? But he didn't really speak English, which I kind of find weird if you're using a shuttle or a taxi thing. But yes, no. So he didn't say anything, and I'm just sweating buckets. I'm like, and I'm just trying to make notes of this stuff. I'm like, all right, so I'm saying my goodbyes. I'm like, come find me. Like, this is, and I don't know where I am. So I'm just, whatever I see passing on the road is what I'm typing down. But yeah, it was fine. Nobody kidnapped me. I made it. And I did travel to the, for another, I think it was like a week and a half, couple of weeks in the southern part of India.
By yourself?
It was mm-hmm.
Just bumming good. Around? Just bumming around or?
No, I went and I stayed with this guy that I used to work with. He's kind of big in India. So he has like a resort kind of thing. He does yoga retreats and stuff. So he had invited me, but then he's like, he was not going to be in town. So we didn't actually meet up, but I stay at that place. And then I had somebody like take me around and show me around India. But
beautiful.
Yeah, it was such a cool experience. I would do it again. And I would tell people like, just don't worry about it. Just be safe. But yeah, it was amazing.
Tell me, you went to go photograph. What was the tour?
Oh, tigers in India. So that was with Andy Parkinson.
Yeah, how was that?
Like when you do wildlife photography, you realize that you have to have a lot of patience. So, because the animals don't do whatever you want them to do. But it was amazing. So, Andy, he's like a UK photographer, well-known, really good. Actually, I think he's National Geographic photographer. So he leads these tours. So you end up, he arranges all the accommodations, the entrance fees, and the guides and stuff. So everybody has a Jeep that they always ride the same Jeep. So that's how Israel and I met, because we were in the same Jeep. So then you go morning, like, 5 a.m, go, look for tigers. The guides are really good. You come out at 10 o'clock because the light is just, it's super bright. You eat samosas, you eat really good food. Oh my God, the food is so good. You rest, you chill. And then you go out again, like at, 3 p.m, drive to the park. And driving in India, I mean, I didn't drive, but it's an experience.
Yeah.
Like half the time you're like, I'm going to die. Because there is like this thing, like there's like tiny little roads going into the park. And you're driving and there's like a giant bus coming this way because they put everything on it. There's not just like regular bus. There's just like tons of stuff in there. So it's coming towards you. And you guys are going like this. You're like, somebody's got to move. I'm like, who's going to move? And the guys are like, well, I guess there's some sort of people have like seniority. So the person with the less seniority has to move. So you find out last minute who's going to move, and then the bus moves, and then you go. But I was like, we're done. But I would recommend that trip to anybody because it's really good. You go for 10 days. You don't always see tigers, but you do. The guides are super experienced. They know how to, like, you can learn how to listen to animals, warning each other of tigers nearby. So then the guides go towards that area, and then you just kind of hope that you're going to see it. And there's a couple of days where we saw this mom tiger with 2 sub-adults, and they were just playing in the water. And it was so cool. Like, you just, and they walk right by your Jeep, like in front of it. Like you're in a Jeep with everything. There's like no doors or anything. So you're like wide open. So you're never able to get off the Jeep.
Well, you wouldn't want to.
No. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to tell them, and they take you, to like a special area. And then either you have like one of those toilets where there's like a hole in the ground.
Yep.
Or, you can kind of, if you're just going to pee, you go behind the bushes. But everybody used to tell them, like, we can see you because we can see your jacket, like my neon jackets. So, but
That's
yes.
funny.
Yeah. So do it. It's amazing.
That's amazing. What made you I was just thinking, like, wondering, like, what made you want to do that? Tigers. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, I like wild photography. I mainly do like landscape and nature, as you know. I don't know. It's like an adventure. I think it's mainly, that part. Like seeing tigers, like being able to photograph them, and then just being in a, because when you go to Europe, it's pretty much kind of like the U.S. There's not a lot of changes. When you go to India, it's completely different. Like all your senses are activated. So it's like a totally different experience. So to me, I think it was mainly the adventure part of it. Just experiencing another country, another culture. And the people there are amazing. So other than my freak out time during that drive, everybody was so good, like so sweet. Like they just tried to help, and they're super nice people. What I did see, and it was kind of sad, the caste system is very much
alive and well.
There. Yeah, it's and that's kind of hard to see because even people, they're like, oh, don't talk to them. Like, I have no problem talking to anybody. Like, so that part is hard to see.
It's eye-opening for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's worth it. I mean, the visit.
I know. Yeah, for sure. I haven't been, but I do know, like, I went to South Africa this year.
Oh, yeah.
So fun. Yeah. And such a different
Well, what made you want to do that?
Well, Murray did some invites. And so I was like, I can't pass up this opportunity. So I just couldn't, had to. I was like, I will do whatever it takes to go do this thing. And I ended up getting the last spot. So
that's when you face all your fears, right? Like backpacking and then climbing those ladders.
The chain ladders. I know. I think pushing ourselves, and who knows, like, we don't have to do these things, but I love to push myself out of my comfort zone and adventure and explore boundaries. Cause I feel like if I didn't push myself, I totally would be just in my pink robe with my fuzzy slippers, just hanging out in my house.
I think that's when you have like the biggest learning experiences. When you push yourself, out of your comfort zone, you're able to see what you're able to do. And the level keeps going higher and higher. Like, well, I've done this. Now I got to do this. So what's your next one?
Oh, I don't know.
Snow?
I don't really know. I'm working on some personal stuff right now. So I don't know. I actually, what I love to do is leave myself open to adventure serendipity. Adventure-dipity. Because I'm like, I don't know where it will come from, but for sure there will be some sort of opportunity somewhere.
And you're open to that.
Yeah. And like, I would have never just created the South Africa trip, like, or you had to hear from Andy, like you had to like hear about it from somewhere. You weren't, you know, I don't think you're sitting in your house watching a National Geographic. You're like, I definitely want to photograph tigers in India, you know? So like someone has to create something. This is what's so fun. Someone has to create something that helps, that where we're inspired to go do it so that we can grow. And so that's where like things that I create help other people grow. And, you know, like it just gets passed around and it's really amazing. I feel like this brings us full circle to just, to just end on this opportunity to come to the Outdoor Photo
conference.
Alliances. Yes.
Put yourself in that experience. Yes.
That's right. So yeah, full circle. Like I love that this is your first conference just for women and you put yourself out of your comfort zone maybe a little bit. And
oh my God, big time.
Right. And I think, but in a really amazing place where everyone is going to be just so supportive and really lovely. And like you and Shanda and Jeannie all had to create that so that other people could benefit from it, right? So,
well, and I think we've told you that too, that we created it because of one of the main things that sparked that was our experience with you in White Sands that one year. Like, we want what we have to be available to other women.
Yeah.
And, you know, having like that network. So, yeah. So, again, it is full circle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we have been putting ourselves in way out of our comfort zone.
Yes, you
For me, public speaking is like, I start sweating. So, yeah. Come watch me sweat buckets.
It'll be so fabulous. She'll be sexy and amazing. No, I'm just kidding. I'll delete that. You'll be so gorgeous.
It's gonna
with
be
your
fun.
sweat, with your sweaty pits. No, just kidding. Yeah. No, I actually think, I think you think that, and then I think once everyone's there and you see, like, you start talking and being around all the people, I just think it's going to be so amazing to know that you were part of helping bring people together. So.
And we love it. I mean, we really love what we're creating and people are excited. And I think it's a really great thing.
Same.
And Bree's going to be there with her podcast. And so I think
I have yeah, we're going to do some podcasting things. So, so yeah, if you're there, you're going to want to come chat with me for sure.
We've already figured out like a spot for you to sit down.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gathering my gear.
Let's go.
Gathering my gear. Yes, for sure. Okay. Yeah. And TBD, possibly for everyone, maybe a bigger conference, another conference. But TBD, let's get through this one first.
Yes. We have, I mean, that's in the works, but we have one for the fall in Colorado, in Durango, and that's going to be a co-ed conference. So yeah, we're already working on that.
Amazing. Okay. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Awesome. Yes.
Join us in Estes Park and stay tuned for the next one. So
February 6th to the 9th.
That's right. Okay. I'll put all the links in the description. And Martha, so fun to chat with you.
So fun.
I always love our chats.
Yes. I have such a good time with you. And we travel well together, so it's good.
Yes, we do. Because I put up with your snarkiness.
There's no putting up.
Just kidding. So Martha and I, the first year, we shared a room and we were like, can we room together? And it turns out, yes. And we dish it out back and forth. It's great.
Yeah. We had a good time.
Totally.
I do have some blackmailing stuff though, just in case.
Oh yeah, you do. But we're not going to talk about that.
Hey, Bri, are you turning red?
No.
Sorry.
Joke's on you.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
I don't know what
funny.
you're talking
All right.
about.
Love it. All right. Well, this was so fun. I think it's just time to go. My face like hurts from smiling so much. I loved it.
I think it's just the blushing.
Maybe I'll never tell. All right, everyone. That is it. We're going to go. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Martha.
having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's say bye to everyone. Ready? 1, 2, 3. See you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Come with me on my next adventure. Be a wild woman and join me on one of my small group photography escapes in places like the cypress swamps of East Texas or White Sands, New Mexico. Go to wildwomanphotography.com for all the details. While you're there, you can check out featured wild women, episode transcripts, and more. Oh, and I'd love for you to support this podcast and all these incredible wild women in photography by leaving a review or sharing with a friend. Thank you so much for listening.